Welcome back to Good Day Charlotte. Now, September might be when you start celebrating the fall season, but it's actually the peak time for hurricanes and tropical storms. And right now, Tropical Storm Nicholas is battering parts of Texas and Louisiana along the coast. We want to talk about the peak of hurricane season. So UNC Charlotte meteorology professor Dr. Matthew Easton joining us this morning to discuss some of that. Doctor, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good morning to you. Now, we know that hurricane season runs from June to November. This year, we've had 14 named storms, 9 of which have been in August and September alone. So I guess the first question for a lot of folks is, why do we see the tropical storm activity peak so late in the season?
Well, the main reason is hurricanes get their energy from the ocean. But at the same time, they need to have cold air kind of moving over that warm ocean. And so it's kind of a combination of the sun is heating the ocean all summer, and the ocean does a good job at holding on to that heat, much like a pool in your backyard might hold on to that heat. And then as the air starts to cool down, as we enter kind of the autumn season, like we have in the past couple of weeks, that colder air starts to move over that very warm water. And so that's what really kind of drives the hurricane peak in kind of September timeframe.
Yeah, and we have a graphic up as we're speaking right now showing some of the sea surface temperatures. They're upwards of 82, 87 degrees in some spots, the Gulf of Mexico, with 87-degree temperatures, seeing Nicholas being able to intensify. And we know the devastation and damage from these storms could definitely bring a lot of chaos with them, which is why it's so important to pay attention when storms like this develop. How has forecasting improved in recent years, especially with the advancement of technology?
It's dramatically improved. In the last decade, we've had kind of a big injection of resources into NOAA, a combination of multiple new satellites with advanced resolutions. Hurricane Hunter aircraft have been updated, and they've also brought in a lot of additional kind of unmanned aerial vehicles that fly through the storms. And so in a lot of cases, trying to understand and forecast the intensity of one of these storms is really like finding a needle in a haystack. In the old days, you would have to go through that haystack and straw by straw and try to find that needle. Now we have essentially like X-ray machines looking into the storms, trying to find that needle, and it makes it a little easier to find the needle or the strongest winds, I guess you could say. And so as a result, we're getting a better idea on how to forecast the storms, where they're going to move, how intense they are. And so as a result, we can make better forecasts.
Yeah, and that improvement really kind of life-saving for some folks in terms of the lead time that people can have before the storm arrives or makes landfall. And we do know 5 of the top 10 costliest hurricanes have been within the last decade. And 2020 hurricane season holds the record for the most active with 30 named storms. Have you been seeing a trend of tropical storm activity kind of get higher and higher in recent years here?
It has. It's been a slow increase, but there's definitely been more tropical storms in like the last decade, and they're causing more damage. And part of that extra damage is quite frankly, we own more stuff than we used to years ago. But it's also the storms are actually moving a bit slower. And when they move slower, they tend to drop more rainfall over a given location. So there's a lot more flooding that occurs. We had that with Florence through the North Carolina area and South Carolina area a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And with Harvey in the Houston area, we're probably going to see some pretty bad flooding with Nicholas here. We had bad flooding with Ida. So we're ending up with more damage because storms are actually moving a bit slower.
Yeah, that's such an important point to make, because we've seen the hurricanes wreak havoc on cities, causing billions of dollars worth of damage. And when folks kind of consider the impact from these storms, a lot of times they talk about the category 1 to category 4 or 5. But that's just one factor. It's measuring one variable of the storm. Why is it so important to pay attention to all the factors, not just the category, when this happens?
The category is really focused on the maximum wind speed. And that's a concern if you're a coastal community that's near the eye wall of a hurricane. But hurricanes also produce a lot of storm surge along the coast, tornadoes actually in the outer rain bands. And then really the biggest threat to society is the flooding once the storms move inland. I think people kind of tend to forget about that, but it's the category is really just focused on the maximum win. So you got to take the whole package in, and you guys do a nice job at bringing in the whole package on what the concerns are. So people kind of really need to focus on multiple things.
UNC Charlotte meteorology professor Dr. Matthew Easton, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Very valuable information for folks at home as we sit in the peak of hurricane season. So thank you.
Thank you.